Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a discussion that needs to be had about VCT 2026 America Stage 1, especially Week 2, and pick'ems for Week 3. I went ahead and did my pick'ems because it turns out that the recording was stuffed. So we got to do it over again, but when I flip to the pick'ems right now, you'll see that I already have it filled out. So, surprise, surprise, but we'll talk about it. But looking at what happened week two, um, want to talk about this because Cloud9 envy. Cloud9, I do feel bad for Emmy because it's just a lose lose situation, right? Now you got to go against MIBR Loud and G2. But it was a lose lose situation because the mean thing that would have threw off your team's chemistry is kick Penny for Demon 1. Didn't do it because hey, power of friendship, everybody would have been looking at you sideways. Honestly, if I was him, I would have lied and said it was management. Um, but at the same time, he'd be like, but Emmy's kicked people before. Yeah, and it hasn't been too many direct upgrades, in my opinion. Like, Zeus has a trophy, has done it. I'd say fine. Like, I mean, he's also a new IGO, but I'd say fine. Like, yeah, that's an upgrade. But some of the other ones, you'd be like, genuinely, it was like a 1-to-1. I don't know. So I feel bad for Emmy. However, I do think that they actually have the players to play a comp that can take down MIBR, the particular double duelist that MIBR use. So we'll see if they do it. Awesome, I called it. If they don't make a comp change and lose, I'm making a video possibly about I wish that C9 would have used this comp versus MIBR. So that's that. Envy. Coach finally pulled his head out his ass, but it's probably too late. Um, hey, look. Again, your playbook. I said it. I said it in kickoff. Your playbook has to be dog shit to put Demon One on smokes here, and then it continued to be dog shit versus Loud. But after getting clowned on by fucking everybody as to why would you do that, finally we said, you know what? I do want to win. How about Kesnet and Demon One play duelist in chamber and let them be insane and win the game. Also, Rossi took over IGO from what I understand. Fine. Think more teams need to do it. More coaches, especially in Americas, apparently, need to let go of their fucking ego and do the thing that makes sense with the comp. So there's that one. Furia EG, not much to say except EG looked better week to week. And I don't know, maybe Furia had that subconscious thing. They all seem like humble guys, but a part of your brain will go, but I'm better than this. What the fuck am I doing? But EG took a map, or made it close. I don't remember. Either way, EG did look better. Then we go to G2 Lev. Lev are playing like everybody expected, and thus it's working out. G2, on the other hand, are pissing me off. It's three people that are just like not that good with their agent, but they're good players. I'm looking at Leaf, Valen, and Baby Bay. Baby Bay has been top fragging, but still, look at the shit that his Vice is doing compared to other Vices. It's like, why did you put it there? This is just like a backfire. Then, like, Leaf is like, yeah, I understand. I had to look. I'm like, wait, they did play Leaf, Astra, Val, and Harbor. So that's probably why they're continuing this. I still think they need to switch because Leaf now has to do things besides focus on his crosshair or have a piece of util to bam splash somebody. I think you just make it easy. It's the same places that you stand for Breach. He's played Breach. Make it easy on yourself, especially when here's my thing. I think Valen is really screwing the pooch on Harbor. Uh, for instance, we're on fucking Breeze. They need to apparently cross or whatever, but they have Valen Cove the cross, and then the Astra Smoke the spike. What? Especially and then on a pistol. Instead of coving the spike, same situation except we smoke an area that they might be in compared to the guaranteed they'll be looking at their spike plant. It's just I don't. I don't know what he doesn't understand about Harbor. It's really not this hard. I understand probably used to having two smokes, like on other controllers, but you can't just throw the cove willy nilly and be like, oh, it'll be back in 30 seconds. The bomb is down. You don't have this time for this second smoke. I don't know. I don't get it. It was the freest one of your life. I think I don't remember if they ended up winning the round two, but if you just put the cove on the spike and pistol, they had nothing to that would have just win the round. Just win the fucking round. So G2 driving me up a wall. Their players don't really understand their agents. Trent is fucking trying. I don't know what's going on with y'all, to be honest, but hey, there's that. MIBR allowed. MIBR barely had to try, really. However, I will say I think MIBR still needs to work on teamwork and friendship because it hasn't bitten them in the ass yet, but they need to figure that out. Like, I'm still watching Verno and Aspas do shit that just would not benefit the team because they're playing for themselves. Like, I don't know it's that. But hey, Loud just happened to be worse. NRG Crew. Yeah, I told you, Crew looked pretty damn good. And NRG, I don't know what's going on with them. I did see the discussion of like, but Kiko is like, yeah, he came from EMEA, dog shit region next to China, apparently, right? Like, that's where everybody's like, hey, whoa, farm EMEA, third worst. Yeah, numbers will look different, but Kiko did look good at Santiago. I think you gotta look at what the fuck is going on with Brock and kind of Scuba, but Scuba turned up too. Ethan's been kind of asleep, but he's IGLing. It's fine. Like, I don't know. Mod is trying, and I don't know. Brock is being asked to play some weird shit. They don't have an assistant coach anymore. NRG are fucking struggling. Crew, on the other hand, Sadok's back. I told you. I know I didn't tell you here because I thought it would be funny if Tarek won. If Tarek would have been the sub. But I don't know. I've been riding since kickoff when they couldn't play. I'm like, you guys are smoking something if you think that Crew aren't going to look good. Then 100 Thieves Sentinels. First, I want to talk about the Sentinels. People are like, oh my gosh, Sentinels, they can do it. I'm rooting for both of these teams. They just barely beat a 100 Thieves that looked like dog shit. 1310 and 1917 is not convincing when 100 Thieves looked as fucking pathetic as they did. So there's that. I'm just not convinced. They might actually lose to EG. I would not be surprised, but hey, there's that, and they might be cooked. They have EG, Furia, NRG. They really need to win versus EG, but I'm not convinced that their team is there yet. I don't know. I am genuinely rooting for them, but I'm not sure. And we come to 100 Thieves, where I have a lot to yap about, because there's a couple of narratives that I don't think we understand. They needed this win versus Sentinels because now they have to go into this NRG, Crew, and Furia. They're kind of fucking chalked. But not because of who or why or what. So, yeah, you go, see, why is Asuna still here? Why? Oh my gosh, look at this. You're not looking at this. You're not. At a 13-10, and we have the most questionable Phoenix ult I've ever seen in my life. Think about what happens if you convert those rounds with the Phoenix ult. Think about those rounds where my initiator isn't getting caught out first and dying when I need that utility compared to the two duelist or my sentinel. Think about those rounds. But another thing, just like Asuna bailout moment, I guess, because it needs to be discussed because people don't understand things. Look at the role that he's playing on these comps. He's playing the Neon. Oh, how'd the other Neon do? Has to be the sacrificial, make space person. Has to be the sacrificial, make space person. This isn't that bad for that person. This is okay for that person. Oh, we go to split. Who is he playing here? He's playing the Sage. Let's look at the other Sage. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, would you look at the Neon? So you take both of these, and Asuna had to play both of those. It's going to look like this. But now let's crack down a little bit more as to why Asuna is still on 100 Thieves. People go like, but the stats, which they should not be talking, especially when they can't read fucking stats. But two, when you have somebody that has been asked to play damn near a different thing except for KO every season, and some funky shit. He has 22 games on Gecko. Look at these stats, and this is what a flex player looks like, especially a selfless flex player. When you have one person that can play damn near anything to at least a competent level, you can afford the other four players to be experts in their role. Because you have one person that makes it so that you can play whatever fucking meta comes around. And from what I understand, anybody that's played with Asuna has been like, man, he's a great guy. When you have somebody that is easy to get along with and can make sure that your fucking team can play what they need to play, you keep the guy. Now, since we want to talk about stats, let's look at the stats. I will agree, this is another thing though, before I move on to that actually. I agree with the take that Asuna should be the Phoenix instead of the Neon, even though, yeah, I remember his Neon being okay back in the day. But it plays just like KO, and he's played KO and Phoenix. I agree with the take, but not for the reason of like, oh, he's the cleanup crew guy. He's always been the entry guy, so it makes sense that he's the Neon here. But these are almost one-to-one agents for most purposes. He has a lot more mastery. Just let Asuna play here. But coming back to what a flex is needing to do, look at what Asuna has played. Again, look at the roster. Look at the ratings. And let's look at some of your favorite flex players from the region and one out. You go to Ethan, Mr. Two-Time. You wouldn't dare call Ethan a bad flex, but even on his most played, it's 0.97. KO 1.07, one thing that we'd go, yeah, Ethan's a great KO. Asuna 1.10. So, like, you have to think about things not just in the server, like stat-wise, outside the server too. Ethan, also, people would tell you, great guy from what I understand. Great guy, making calls, IGO debuff. Apparently none of the flexes can really play Omen except for one. Even the one that you would expect, besides this one. 0.98 on the Omen for Ethan. 0.83 over here with the 8 games played. Look at Leaf, becoming a flex, I guess. 1.08 on the Viper people want him for. You look at the things that we know him for with the Jet and the Chamber, 1.16, 1.15. So let's not think that like, oh, these stats are going to be amazing compared to other people. Coming back to the Omen conversation, 0.50 out of 35 games. Look at the Duelist. Look at the Non. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I will say the Vice is probably the one that I go, wait, hold on. Maybe he should be playing the Vice instead of Baby Bay. But that's another discussion to be had. Maybe you do change that. Maybe Baby Bay goes to the Harbor and you put Leaf back on the Vice. Maybe. Mazzino, a great flex. We know him for the Harbor. The Harbor just has a one even. The Omen we've seen him play, 0.91. Again, flexes apparently can't play Omen. He's bodying everybody else on the Sage. But, like, again, 1.07, same as Ethan, less than Asuna. Yet the flex players take hits. That happens. The only flex player that has, like, the roster to back it up and the numbers that you'd go, yeah, is the best one. Forsaken. Unless you could think of another one. But even look at Forsaken's. Like these, yeah, the Jet's insane. The Raze is insane. The Sova is probably the one that caught my eye the most, but look at the non-duelist. Yeah, he's bodying everybody on the KO apparently. But like, these are about the same ratings. I don't think people understand numbers enough to be talking about the way they do. Asuna, yeah. Look, fucking Asuna has 22 games of Gecko. Ethan, we had an entire Tejo meta. 19 games. Sometimes you're asked to play funky shit. Sometimes you're asked to play the role that is going to make it look worse for you individually. But you can't get rid of the guy just because you think, oh, he's been here a while. I still think that they need to bring some old men back into the roster. You can't just be like, oh, Cryo, Bang, and Asuna have been playing a while. Like, they're not old dudes by all sense of the mean to get some genuine leadership in here. You're asking them to also train Vora and Timatino for the big leagues, and your IGL is a new kid? I don't know, man. That seems kind of sketch. So, they just barely lost out after looking pretty bad. And just imagine if we had the showstopper or two Phoenix ults, you actually win. If you don't send it twice into a non-paranoid Neon with a judge, you probably win that round too, right? Like, there's some things that just need to be worked out overall. Get an op into Cryo's hands because ops are fucking free right now. Ops are farming. Just play to your win conditions. They're getting there. That was one of my biggest critiques of, like, they don't have win conditions. They're getting there. At least now, Vora can have a fucking Sova ult. At least now we can have a Phoenix ult that might change the round. Things like that. They're getting there. But, yeah, that game that week was pretty bad. So let's look at the pick'ems. I got Lev over Envy. Hey, I don't know how hard Kesnet and Demon 1 can carry. Do I sync my pick'em some more? Maybe. And I know one of them looks crazy as hell because I had to re-record this. I don't know. I had too much doubt for Latam for my taste. So we keep it as Lev. I don't know. Kesnet and Demon 1 are kind of crazy. You know what? We are switching that. We'll switch that live. G2, Loud. Should be G2. Even though they don't know what they're doing, should still be able to get past Loud. Furia Crew look insane, man. And Furia did lose one map to EG. So, I don't know. Commutative properties, I don't know. But Crew looks good. NRG 100 Thieves. I have 100 Thieves here as like my also wild card. Maybe they can do it. Like, I don't have a lot of faith that this one could happen, but if 100 Thieves just don't play as absolutely pathetic as they did last week, and NRG, they need to figure out what they're doing comp-wise, player-wise, team-wise. It's looking stressful, and I think that 100 Thieves has a route to winning here. So that's going to be my genuine wild card. This one is a 50-50 if you ask me. EG Sentinels. I guess this is a 50-50 too. Like, it's a 51-49. Like, I would not be surprised if EG wins over Sentinels. Sentinels beat a 100 Thieves that stubbed their toe. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not. But they're getting there, I guess. MIBR Cloud9, the power of friendship might prevail over the power of not great friends yet, I guess. Might happen. But if they get Zekend, Aspast, Vernode, that's a lot of work for Oxy. And I don't know. So, that's that one. We're going to save this one now and see what happens. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.